When I was a kid, I stayed the night at a friend's house. I'd been there many times before, but I had never stayed the night there. His mom was a heavy smoker, and his dad drank a lot of beer. Besides that, they were the perfect family. So my buddies and I stayed up late, eating junk food, drinking soda, and playing N64. Around 2 a.m., we all decided to go to sleep. I woke up to the sound of a crash, like someone had knocked over the good china. I tried to wake up my friends, but they wouldn't move. So I crept up the stairs alone in the dark. When I got to the top step, I saw something had tipped over onto the dining room table. As I got closer, I could barely make out two figures. One was my friend's dad, his head trapped between what had fallen and the table. The other was just a shadow. Its head twisted in my direction and screeched. I just stood there, terrified. The walls began to tremble almost to the sound of its scream. Finally, I screamed, "Go away!" I felt something shove me backwards, and I flew through walls on the ground until I hit the floor of the basement. I didn't know what happened. I figured it was a bad dream and fell asleep again. When I awoke the next morning, I was really itchy. It was also really hot. It was the summer, so it wasn't unusual, but I felt like I wasn't around my friends. I got out of my bed and looked around. Nothing looked the same. I yelled for my friends and the adults, but got no response. I walked around crying for what felt like hours, until I started to hear voices underneath me. I heard them calling my name. I couldn't tell who it was at the time, so I was silent. After a few minutes, I heard my mom. She was praying for me to come home. I heard her crying, and I called out to her. She stopped so abruptly, I almost didn't notice until she started screaming for my dad. After a few minutes of me crying and her consoling me, they found me in the attic. From what I could gather, I had apparently disappeared from my friend's house in the middle of the night 4 days prior. They thought I had been kidnapped, as my friends' families checked out. Police had been looking for me. Family, friends, almost the whole town, all the while I was in the attic. So everyone understands, there was not an entryway to the attic in the house. If you wanted to get in there, you had to go through a window on the side of the house. You would need a 20-foot ladder, plus power tools. But I was around 10. The only other way was to break through the ceiling inside the house. I was taken to the hospital, interviewed by police and psychiatrists, and they all couldn't explain what happened. I had 5 long scratches down my back, all parallel and the same length and width, marks along my arms and legs, and the white of one of my eyes was red for a month. My eyes are normally blue, but one was red and blue. I didn't show signs of torture or psychological distress. It was like I teleported there. I was extremely hungry and obviously confused, but nobody knows what happened or how. It's been many years now, and to this day nobody has any clue what happened.